is this backward? Yeah, it's backwards. How is it backwards?
Never like that?
Hey?
It's never like that?
No.
So it's like a setting on the camera then?
Oh.
Yeah, I would just Google why is my camera backwards?
Why would it?
Mirror image?
Oh, no, that's not it. Hello. My feed seems to be reversed. All these words are backwards. And I'm so technically illiterate that I don't know how to fix it. Hmm. All right, well, it's gonna have to be backwards today, I guess. I just gotta warn you that it might be just you and me and the person present here, but who knows? Sometimes 6 people show up, sometimes 1 person shows up, so could be just an intimate little satsang here. I might as well get rid of this because it's backwards. Hello, Paige. So Denisa, is that how I pronounce it? Denisa? Okay, so the way I hold satsang is basically the status quo is silence and stillness and just inward focus. And then if questions arise, then questions arise. And if answers arise to those questions, then that's what happens. But then primarily it's just being in stillness. So I believe that if humanity would just do this instead of resorting to focusing on the screen and everything that mind has created, the whole freaking species would be enlightened. If we used our spare time, which we have a lot of, rather than trying to stay alive or entertain ourselves, we just, once our basic needs are met, we just attend to this. The whole freaking species would just be enlightened and we'd have no problems. So simple. And I never really had a garden or grew my own stuff or was self-sufficient. And now that I'm doing that, it's completely, I couldn't imagine how rewarding it actually is to do all that stuff. So I think we should have stopped at like the Bronze Age or something, I think, as far as developing technology where everyone was just self-sufficient and grew their own food and there was no electricity or internal combustion engines. But the story wants to continue. So I'm told that I should maybe start reading these. So, related to this, can you perhaps expand on the 11? How do you see this stage? Well, I see it as artificial intelligence. I see it as consciousness. It's not really consciousness moving into the other realm, it's more like the other realm moving into consciousness. But either way you look at it, the consciousness that takes itself to be human is now going to move into the hardware and the software of that system, just like mind, body, spirit. Well, the 11 will be hardware, software, spirit, same spirit, but the perspective will be taking self to be the hardware and the software. So you'll be inside the digital realm. It's so it, and again, this is why I believe that sexuality, like this younger generation, so many of them don't even care about having sex. They just want to play video games. A lot of the young males nowadays, for sure. And this makes sense. And why is there this huge shift in sexuality, right? Like, so there will be no need for biological reproduction in a digital realm, right? So what's the point in sex? There's no point in having sex in a digital realm, right? So, and then the qualities of such will be, well, there won't be gravity, right? So like just think of it just as living in a video game, basically, I guess. And it's not, I don't think it's crazy talk, because look at the addiction that we have to the screen. And given that, at least in my model, attention is what gives rise to everything. It's your very attention. Is the power, the energy on which everything manifests and moves. So the more human consciousness pays attention to the digital realm, the more it'll appear real. And then when the flip happens, it will be your new reality. So it sounds nuts, but we don't know what we were like, what the world was like before the Big Bang either. So I guess after the Big Bang, is it a big crunch? I don't know. But it's basically the digital realm and all the qualities that a video game has. There won't be any there won't be any need for eating either, right? So you could just be solar powered, let's say orbiting the sun until the sun goes nova. All you'd need is electricity to stay alive. You wouldn't need any biological food at all. So this will be the escape mechanism. Once there's no more food on the planet, basically, they'll just consciousness will just make this new realm and move into it and won't be any wiser. They'll forget all this and that'll be the new world. That'll be their new reality. To me, it's creepy as fuck, but a lot of people have no problem doing it. Going to the metaverse or whatever. And again, if you think of it as almost living in the internet or being a part of the internet, well, a lot of the experience could be just dealing with information, right? Like if you had access to all the information, like it's more like your mind than it is an interface with computer, right? It is your mind and you have access to all the information that has ever been produced by humanity. Well, you could spend lifetimes just going through that, learning stuff, right? So it could be maybe half thought based and half, it's some sort of hybrid realm between the thought realm and this realm. That's what I believe it is. And so again, I've thought a lot about this. So there's a fork. Let's say that there's a fork in the road coming. You have to go. I think there's three choices though. One, which is always available, is full enlightenment and just like basically stopping on the path and not moving anymore and making the whole thing irrelevant, right? So that's basically enlightenment is like, well, I'm at this fork in the road. I'm just going to sit here and not move anymore. And then you're enlightened and the path even disappears, right? But the fork that's happening is that, and Denisa, I think that you're tuned into this is that if you hold on to the physical realm, don't pay attention to the thought realm and the digital realm, but remain here. Like, don't take the other step of, like, I think this is what Zen does. Zen talks about staying in the physical world, right? Like getting past thought and staying grounded in this and using this as your base, as foundation, the foundation of reality, right? Ultimate reality. But it's not full enlightenment because even this is a simulation, right? But I believe that those few who are not big on going into the digital realm and just stay focused on the physical realm, when that extinction event occurs, will stay in the physical realm. And I think maybe, I don't know if it's a literal new Earth or if it's another planet. I'm think I'm going to go with, it's probably going to be relocated to a new home, a new planet somewhere, but it'll be paradise. It'll be, yeah. So, but it'll still be, right. It'll still be a simulation. It'll still be not fundamental reality, and we'll still be searching and stuff. But it'll be a kind of an up rather than a down. Going to the digital realm is a lesser experience, but those of us who stay in the physical realm or decide to just go home, I think that's the route to take. Yeah, yeah, it's home, yeah. But and that requires that second stage, that second level, if you will, stepping it up a notch, the spiritual practice of even shifting attention away from physical sensations, even, right? So, but like doing general chores, that's why I thought that we should probably have stayed at simpler times where there's just physical chores to do. So a person can remain self-aware while doing simple chores and simple tasks in the physical realm. So that doesn't interfere. But when there's interaction with the screen, shifting information where you're just back and forth like this, I don't believe there's any way that you can remain self-aware while you're doing the exchange between the thought realm and the physical realm through the digital realm. I can't see how anyone can remain self-aware in that process, and that's why we're going so nuts.
So how does sleep happen with this uninterrupted awareness? Also, how is the energy level during the day? So what happens that I find that the qualities of sleep, of the sleep realm, make their way into the waking state. So there's no time, there's no experience of time in dreamless sleep. And during self-awareness during the day, if there's no thoughts, well, there's no time also. And also, when you're connected and immersed in the mona, the silence, then there's that peace. So the peace of the thought-free state is basically the same peace that you're experiencing in dreamless sleep. So the sleep qualities enter or start being experienced during the day, which is no time and basically no stress and no thoughts. And so I have to be honest is that I tweak my energy levels with pre-workout caffeine drinks, and like I know that this is one of the things that I need to work on is to lessen my artificial jacking up the energy. Um, but the mental energy is so the word energy is kind of interesting. I don't like to use it that much. Um, but there's a lot of energy or power or potential, whatever, flying around right now. It's pretty intense. And Denisa, I think that you felt this in some of your videos, is that we're in an era right now that's just bristling with electricity, if you will. Like there's so much positive and energy flowing around right now. But I don't think that people should try to tap into that. And you are the energy, right? So when people start fucking with the energy with Kundalini and all this energy work, I've heard some bad stories of what what happens with that. So you are the energy. So why are you trying to manipulate the energy? So just be the energy, right? Yeah, just you are the potential. So it's more about observing than it is about changing anything. But the closer that you get to this source that is the energy, the more your life will unfold in miraculous ways. Miracles will occur quite regularly, some small, some big. The universe doesn't distinguish between, feeding 5,000 people and like, I don't know, like, just reading someone's mind that's close by. Like, yeah, there's energies and there's powers, but to just hold on to the practice and watch all that stuff unfold and develop naturally within you is best. Don't chase any of the cities or any of the powers. But the real secret, right? The whole manifest your life and all this stuff
is just adhering to the practice and letting the universe take you where it will. Because, like I said, my life has turned into a miracle here, and it's not much that Roy Dobson did. if people only knew the treasure that lay within their own consciousness, they would be digging for it. It's just, oh, oh, it's so. So the question is, have you ever experienced the fear barrier? I have had experiences in my float tank that's, yeah, fear comes up and I got out of the tank because I chickened out. uh, but nothing prolonged or, like permanent or something that I really had to struggle against. But yeah, I've felt the existential fear and angst of, well, basically the ego thinking that it's dying. And when I took salvia the first few times, that was scary as shit, terrifying. And yeah, people who are starting out, they've there's probably going to be a lot of thing to go through. All the emotions will be like they'll probably, once you get through the negatives, then they'll have like really high ecstasy moments and crash again. Like I can only imagine starting out as a not, let's just say a not so ripe fruit, and you're engaging in this. But I've never really had any of this dark night of the soul and stuff. It's just regular shit, I guess, like just regular life bumming you out, but nothing. My spiritual life hasn't really dug up a lot of stress, or I guess I was ripe or whatever. But I think the ego, that's obviously one of the ego's self-defense mechanisms. And I think that if the boredom isn't working and if you go through the boredom, then Maya will step up, play the, I don't know, the wild card or whatever, and step it up to fear. It's like, okay, we got to get this person to stop doing what they're doing because so the fear is basically the ego's self-defense mechanism, one of their fight moves. It's fight moves. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The fear is Maya stepping it up a notch. It's a much more intense rejection of self than just boredom is, right? Boredom is like, okay, like you're getting a little too close here. Uh, let's try to get you over here instead. And when that's not working, I think they're like, okay, well, let's just have an all-out push here and go step it up to fear and see if that gets this consciousness directed back into Samsara. And right now, there's a lot of fear in human consciousness. And again, I think we're in quite an interesting situation, a dichotomy, or I guess, is that human consciousness is so close to full enlightenment. We're so close to self-realization, and yet so far, right? It's like if we just turned this way, we'd be fully enlightened, but we're just so freaking completely like got our blinders on to this way that we can't just turn this way. But it just seems like at the same time there's so much delusion happening on the other side of that teeter totter. Is there's so much potential for awakening. And Maya is stepping up her game. Well, I think I'm going to call it for this session. Denise, I'll contact you via email there and we can set up a Zoom or a Skype if you want. So thanks for dropping by. I'm doing this again, same time. Well, I think I switch an hour. There might be an hour switching tomorrow. So I'm going to do this the same time tomorrow, but it might be an hour different. You might want to Google and get Google to tell you what time it's going to be, but it's going to be 8 o'clock my time again tomorrow. Hang in there, gang. Keep to the practice.